right there. I don't know what I did with my little piece. I think it's bound to get lost. These bougie words are everywhere. Like, take them to Google. Okay, so I wanted to get into my celibacy journey. Let me show y'all something. It's so cute. Hey! Thank you for the like. Let me show you something. Real quick. Isn't this cute? This is my homepage. It's so cute. But anywho, today I want to get into my celibacy journey. I want to talk about really give updated responses to a video I did back in 2021, February 11th. I posted it up on this channel. And it wasn't a live, it was like a sit-down video during the time where I used to do sit-down videos. It's not, I feel like sit-down videos are very performative, you know? I'd rather just be live and in action and in motion, you know what I mean? I just rather be myself in real time. So I wanted to, I think back in February, I had posted this video around Valentine's Day in 2021, February 11th. And, you know, it came up, and I considered, like I started watching the video then, and I had to stop it. Excuse me, I had to stop the video because I'm like, oh my gosh, like, this would be a really good video to do, you know, with my subscribers, you know, with my viewers, to give an updated response, because as I'm watching it, like, my responses are totally different. You know, I'm further on my celibacy journey. I've had some experiences, you know what I'm saying? So I'm experiencing something right now, you know what I mean? So my responses are a lot different now versus what many years ago? 19, yeah, like 2.5 years at the time. So yeah, we're going on 6 years this year. So anywho, I wanna play it. It's my content, so I can play it. I want to play it, and I want to answer the questions and see, you know, like, react to it, answer the questions in real time. That's crazy. Okay. I'm about to play it. That was my old intro. Hey guys, what's up? Thank you so much for coming back to check me out yet another freaking again. And I'm back, mother effer. Nice. Alright, so this back when I used to curse. I feel like it's necessary to do this video. I'm obviously I'm going down my cheat sheet, okay? Because I would like to stay on track, and I want to
deliver everything that's intended to be delivered in this video effectively. So you can tell by the title, you know, I'm about to go back and give y'all some deets, get a little interpersonal, just a little bit, not too much. What prompted me to do this Q&A regarding celibacy is because lately I have been getting a lot of questions surrounding the Q&A that I'm going to give you guys today. I really chose to go public with my celibacy journey because a lot of people, you know, we're exposed to a lot when it comes to sex. Our children are exposed to it, unfortunately. You know, our older children. It's literally everywhere. You can't even like run from it if you wanted to. You feel me? So with that being said, you know, me back on Facebook, I'm always exposed to people expressing sex. Even on Instagram, you know, sex is everywhere. So why can I not express how I feel about being celibate and, you know, taking that ride and sharing my journey with other people who may be interested or going through the same journey as I. Being that it's broadcasted everywhere, I feel like we need to make celibacy broadcasted everywhere, okay? Like, that's just where I'm at in this whole
pause. It's interesting because during that time in 2021, it was still kind of taboo to practice celibacy. But today, in 2025, a lot of people like are practicing celibacy or abstinence, whatever you want to call it, tomato. Okay? But yeah, I just really think that was a good thing that I picked
up. And that's why I chose to go public with my celibacy journey, because you never know who's watching, who's paying attention, and who you could be helping. So anywho, before we get into the deeds, I've
helped a lot of people. I've had a lot of people tell me that I helped inspire them, which is a blessing. All glory goes to God. I've also had people tell me, like, I don't know why you put that stuff out, why you share too much. Like, okay, whatever. I'm no different than a girl that talks about slobbing on knobs all day. You know, I'm just a complete opposite. What's up, Dave? Anywho, let me get back to this.
Fine. Get your wine, your liquor, your Dutchess. I don't know what you do, but I want you comfortable and I want you feeling it, okay? I'm sipping, so sipping tea with me, okay? For starters, we're gonna start with question number 1. Why are you celibate? So that's weird. But I chose celibacy because
thank you.
I pretty much had no other choice. In my last relationship with my ex, aka my children's father, I just got completely turned off by sex. You know, I don't want to put him, you know, too much in the limelight or whatever the case may be. Whatever I needed to say about him in the past has already been said. But for me, it just was what was best for me. This is a journey that I was supposed to embark on years ago. Okay, I would say I was supposed to, but nah. Like, the time for me to really do it was now. And I just, you know, bottom line, what prompted it is I got turned off by sex. And that's what made my decision to, you know, abstain from sex. Now, I see people...
Let me elaborate on that. Like, the reason why I got turned off by sex is because of how accessible it became. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just was like people was just giving it freely, taking it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it turned me off because I genuinely, thank you for the other like, I genuinely don't believe that sex is something that should be used in any other way than ministry, really. The way God intended it for it to be used. You know what I'm saying? That's number one. But that aside, you know, we are all humans. I'm a human. You know, your girl is definitely still human. But what was turning me off was it was no romance, it was no real connections. Like, it was just soul ties to a mother after that. Or, you know, in anybody else's case, it could have been more than a mother after. It could have, it just whomever, whatever. Like, you know, it's just unnecessary ties to somebody because of sex. Like, it's not being taken seriously, and that alone was turning me off. Um, and that's how I got disgusted by it, because men made it a sport, and I don't think sex was ever created to just be a sport or to be somebody's nightmare, you know, going through the Diddy files and the Diddy cases and the Diddy witnesses and victims and all of that. Like, you know, what homegirl Jane Doe been through, and she's sharing her testimony, what she's been through alone, like, the way she was done sexually, like, I just cannot even fathom. Like, I cannot even place my vagina in that moment. Like, it's crazy. Like, you know what I mean? And that's why I'm disgusted. But I also learned in this journey, like, it's a lot deeper than just not having sex or just saving myself until marriage or for my husband or for somebody that just makes me feel safe again, whatever the case may be, to honor God, whatever your reason for abstaining, whatever it is, like, it's deeper than just that. Like, and that's what I feel like I've learned definitely within the last year, for sure. And maybe, you know, getting some insight on the stuff that Diddy was doing behind closed doors probably prompted, you know, me to, like, really understand how dark and how deep and why it's an abomination and why God can't stand it, why God hates it, you know what I mean, why it's an abomination, like, you know what I mean, because it really gets dark and deep and very disgusting. Like, what are you doing? Those are like sexual rituals. Like, it's really, really sick. But anyways, when you think about stuff like that, you just really start to be like, nah, I need to be more protective, not just my body, but my spirit, my soul. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to guard that more. You know what I mean? And until I feel absolutely safe, I still stand on that. Never mind. Let's keep watching this video.
Those different things, you know, like, oh, how much sex do a chick gotta have to say she don't want, how much D was she getting, this, that, and the third. It was never nothing like that. Now, I've never been a hoe, never been a jump off, but at the same time, I had a great sexual history. I have a great sex past, and, you know, that has nothing to do with the reason why I stemmed from my last relationship with my ex, aka my children's father. I just got disgusted by sex, turned off by it, and that's pretty much as far as I can go, you know, without giving you guys too much. Question number 2, how long have you been celibate? So right now, I am going on a year and a half. Woo! Crazy. Never thought that, you know, I would be a year and a half and sticking to it. But that just goes to show you how turned off I was. You know what I mean? Now, if you want the exact date, now I know my exact date, but, you know, I just feel like something should be private. You know what I mean? Even though I'm sharing this journey with you, I like to keep a little bit to myself. So I'm going to give you some details.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys caught that, but basically the question is, like, I don't know what the question was. I got so distracted. It was so loud.
Exact date, but, you know, I just feel like something should be private. You know what I mean? Even though I'm much as far as I can go, you know, without giving you guys too much. Question number 2, how long have you been celibate? So right now, I am going on a year and a half. Which is crazy. Never thought that, you know, I would be a year and a half and sticking to it. But that just goes to show you how turned off I was. You know what I mean? Now, if you want the exact date, now I know my exact date, but you know, I just feel like some things should be private. You know what I mean? Even though I'm sharing this journey with you, I like to keep a little bit to myself. So I'm going to give you some details, but I'm not going to give you the tea. Okay? So with that being said, you know, just respect that privacy. But yeah, for the most part, I'm going on a year and a half, and I'm super stoked about it. I did not see that happening anytime soon, you know, when I was in the beginning of my journey.
It's so
you
funny.
know what I mean? I remember...
I'm talking about I did not see it happening anytime soon. Me going on a year and a half on a celibacy journey, and here I am 5.5 years on this journey. Lord. Now, I can genuinely say, like, I definitely did not anticipate being on this journey this long. Like, I'm ready to just wild out with my husband. Your girl is backed up.
And I was approaching a year, like, okay, I could do a year, but I don't know if I could do another year. And then after that year hit, it was like, oh, I can do another year. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it could definitely happen. Yeah, guys, I'm going on a year and a half. Question number 3.
Yeah, so it definitely does. Okay, let me be honest. Does it get easier? I feel like overall, yes. But I like, everybody's journey is different. Like, there are women that just, you know, this is just really perfect for them because they never really cared for sex to begin with. You know what I mean? But then there's women like me who definitely care for sex, who, you know, I was good at it. I had a lot of it. You know what I mean? I enjoyed it. So, you know, but I'm still called to put a chastity on it. So, for me in this journey, I feel like, yes, overall, like, it's easy. Like, it's nothing because you compare it to what you're seeing in real time, what you see, like, your peers, associates, friends, family go through in real time. You understand that, you know, you're not bound to anyone. You're not tied to anyone because, you know, you're not sexually involved. So when you're not sexually involved with someone, it does allow you the freedom and the space to move with more discernment and clarity. You know what I'm saying? So you're making better decisions, not decisions based off of an emotion that you receive because you guys are, you know, sexually involved. Prematurely at that. But, you know, in the same sense, you know, your girl is definitely like, you know, like, I still feel like I'm still in my, I still feel sexy. I still feel soft. I still feel sensual. And I make sure that I do what I need to do for myself, in the privacy of my own, you know, to keep those things alive so that when I am finally with my husband, like, he got such a refined, new, and improved version of me that no man could ever say he had. So, that's just that. If the most you can say is you laid down with me and had a baby, and that's just the most you can say. But that aside, yeah, I feel like overall it's easy, but your girl is also a very freaky girl. So I be chilling, like, you know, because I'm, for the most part, throughout this journey, I haven't been talking to anybody, like, at all. Like, I haven't been getting attached. Now, about a year ago, I did meet somebody, and that didn't go too well. And that was, like, really, really dark, but I learned a lot. It was growing pains for sure, but I learned a lot through that experience, and, you know, God is good. Anyhow. But like I said, when you're not sexually involved with people, like I can still like cut somebody off and be going through the motions. Like I can still do that. But if you gotta get chopped, you're just getting chopped. And that's how I continue to get on this journey year after year, single, celibate, you know what I mean? Abstinent. But yeah, you know, I ain't gonna lie, you know, the spirit is willing, but the flesh be weak sometimes, you know what I'm saying? And it is so cute because it is so cute, me and God's relationship. Like, when I say I had to, like, I was out here, like, just, like, calling on his name, just because, like, I feel like when I start to feel, like, when I start to express, like, my really, really deep emotions that are there at the core, like I don't share that with people. So me releasing that and sharing that with someone in particular that it is intended for, like it just released it like a crap load of like raw emotions, like vulnerability, exposed nakedness, like, you know what I'm saying, like, ugh, like uncomfortableness, like, nah, you know. So I don't know, I feel like a lot of it has been, I'm going on from one thing to the next. Happy Sunday, goddess. Hi, legend. Happy Sunday. Thank you for joining. But yeah, anywho, I'll get back to that later.
Is this the longest you've went without sex? Yes, this is the longest I've went without sex. So let me give you guys a little bit of tea, some history about me, right? Even though I had like a great sexual history, you know, meaning I had a lot of sex back in my sex days, you know, with, you know, particular individuals.
This is my video, by
the way, guys. My kid's father.
This is me.
I have 2 baby daddies, in case y'all don't know. I had a lot of sex with them, okay? It's just, you know, guys that I was, you know, really intimate with. Had a lot of sex with them, had a lot of great sex. At the same time, in the same breath, I wasn't no stranger to going without sex either. A lot of times, if I wasn't dating, I wasn't doing casual sex. So, you know, I would say the longest prior to now that I went without sex is 10 months, or was 10 months.
You asked what's the topic or the main question. It's Q&As. So, this is an older video I've done. I don't know. I thought I did it in 2020. I think it was 2021. And it was basically Q&As, like Celibacy Journey 101. A lot of questions that people would just ask me when they learn that I'm practicing celibacy, you know what I mean, or on a celibacy journey. So, or abstaining from sex, whatever you want to call it. So I'm giving my updated responses because apparently, the freaking birds. It's the blue jay bird at that. Like, why do y'all keep flocking to me? Look at the it's like literally right there. And another one, like, I'm feeling attacked. And I'm feeling attacked by these birds, guys. I feel like they're going to jump me one day. Anywho, so yeah, I just want to give my, like, updated responses because I feel differently about a lot of things now because I'm a lot further into this journey. It will be 6 years this year, so like my responses have shifted for some. My opinion on the matter may have shifted. A couple of things I've said back then will have me gagging because I can laugh at that now. Like, whoa, little did I know, you know? So I just think it's just interesting to see where I was at then and where I'm at today, based on the responses that I gave. And it's linked in the description. You can find the original video linked in the description. So
and that was something that was like regular to me. And then, you know, for a couple of years out of the relationship that I was with my ex, he was locked up, you know what I mean? And I abstained from sex then as well. So I'm used to going like 10 months, 9 months, 7 months, 6 months. Like, that's regular to me, okay? Like, that's regular-ish. But this was definitely a milestone. Hitting 1 year was a milestone. You know what I mean? But going on a year and a half is even a bigger milestone. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's the time frame. Have you been tempted?
I feel like that was like the turning point. I feel like a lot more people are celibate now than they were, you know, back in 2019, 2021. I feel like they started coming out like around 23. But some people have been coming out. They've been talking about it more. And that's the good thing about it. And that's why I like talking about it. So we can get more people coming out so that they can understand, like, we're not alone. It's a whole community of us, okay? It's a lot of us. Like, a lot. A lot of men, a lot of women is not abnormal. 2019 for me. These freaking birds.
I have been tempted, you know, with two different individuals. One being my kid's father, another being the guy that, you know,
I started too much there because, like, what the
talking to my kids. He not in the game.
All right, let's talk about me being tempted.
Knowing what you
have I been tempted? Yes. Also, what I was saying earlier, that's how I drifted off. Coming back. What I was saying earlier about, you know, it's easy when you don't have anybody around, you're not talking to anyone. But you do get tempted when, you know, the real test comes when there's somebody that, like, you really, really like. You know what I mean? For a girl like me. Like, you know, I just find it so interesting that a girl like me would be, you know what I mean? But I gotta, you know, I have to make the sacrifice. I feel like we are all called to make, you know, an ultimate sacrifice in life, just as Christ made the ultimate sacrifice. But I feel like whatever it is that, you know, that we are personally, the thing that is personally the thing that will keep us from, you know, God's will, I feel like those are the things that we have to, like, sacrifice. So for me, my assignment is this celibacy journey. Okay? It's a journey. This journey is not perfect. Okay? We understand? I shared and gave my energy too much to people that didn't deserve it. I shared a lot of energy with one person that didn't deserve it. I can name a few, but one big one. Too many years of my life, my youth. But it is what it is. Partially, that's why I got disgusted. Like, I cannot waste any more of my youth, you know what I'm saying, like, on somebody wasting my time. The biggest thing I ever done was stay committed to something that really wasn't meant for either of us for like 12 years. So, yeah, I don't ever want to waste that much time in my life. There's so many things that I could have done that I'm just now doing, career included. You know what I mean? You being with the wrong person could be holding both of y'all back. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you just gotta let it go. Like, let it go. Or holding each other back. And that, to me, like, if you genuinely love that person, that's the thing you do to show them that you really love them, let them go. But that's just based on my own personal experience, what I feel like ultimately was the best decision for both of us. But yeah. What was I saying about this?
And the only way...
Yeah, so when it comes to, you know, being with somebody, like, for me to get sexually turned on, is definitely, like, not, okay, unless he's tall. That's like as soon as I seen a tall man, whoo, I told God, I said, God, now the one thing that's a non-negotiable is the height. And I'm going to tell you why, because I don't want to be the one, because I know how I act when I see a tall man. Like, I know, like, with my heart, you know, like how a guy who likes breast or booty, how he get, that's me when I see a really 6'4" and up. So I just I had to tell God, like, I don't want to, you know, upset my partner, you know, because he doesn't have that. If I have it, we ain't got to worry about. I'm gonna be like this all day. It's always the one person that just wants to drain the suck the spirit out of you. I know, but it's, you know, like, yes, but me too. You know, like, it's two people to be in a toxic relationship. It takes two people. But yeah, having somebody that is able to get into your mind, demisexual here. We're grown, right? Demisexual here. Sapiosexual here. And can we please use sapiosexual correctly? To be a sapiosexual, that means you are attracted to intelligent men. You're sexually turned on by intelligent men that are business savvy, you know, just grown gentlemen that, you know, just move. They have a certain type of power with them sometimes, you know, they may be bosses, you know what I mean? That's not what you with. That's not what you are. That's a sapiosexual. Demisexual is for us, which is the word that I really feel like a lot of people should be using. For us that don't get turned on unless they are, you know, have a connection in the mind. You know, like, it's just all in, like, it's just a more sensual connection. But yeah. So yeah, with that said, for me, yes, that's, and it's not many people that can do that. So, you know, like, typically I'm just annoyed or like, just like, you know what I mean? So when you got the two, because I'm a demi and sapiosexual, so when both of those sides of me are enticed and you're like placed in a situation where I'm on this celibacy journey, but the things I can do to this man right now, you know, type ish, have you screaming and crying like, Lord, come save me, Lord, help me, Lord, help me, I'm about to burst. Real talk. So yeah, that's when it gets hard. That's when it gets
assertive
hard.
about that, and the only way you can really get to a place in life, in a journey such as this, where you know what you want, is you need time to get to know yourself on this level. So okay, I became a woman that I didn't recognize, right? Being in a relationship that I was with my kid's father, you know, I started to become unrecognizable to myself. So when I got out of that relationship,
thank God I don't like really try to direct my comments about him anymore. I feel so bad. Sorry, baby dad. Like, I'm older now than this, and I've evolved. It's not all you. Okay, it wasn't all you.
I had to learn myself. And not only did I had to learn myself, because I was in this relationship with my ex for about 4-5 years on and off. You know what I mean? And I had to relearn myself, and then I had to learn a new version of myself, because now, before the relationship with my ex, I was a mother of 2. I lived my life a lot differently. I was a lot more free spirited because I only had 2. Now I have 4 children, and I was pregnant 2 years in a row, so that put me on the back burner. And then I'm older now, so I had to learn the new version of myself outside of being in this relationship, right? Learning those boundaries is really learning myself and learning, like, what it is that I'm not going to go for, what it is that I really genuinely want in life.
And can we be fair to say this too? Because even back then, thank you, Chris. Very interesting topic. Thank you. Even back then, like, hold on.
There were occasions where I had like a because I only had 2. Now I have 4 children, and I'm learning myself and learning, like, what it is.
So it's fair to say one of the things that I've learned on this journey, especially now that I'm going to be 6 years this year, Lord is willing. Oh my Lord, the will, unless I'm married, the new will. But boundaries change too. Like, my boundaries back then are not the same boundaries I have today.
That I'm not going to go for, what it is that I really genuinely want. And once upon a time, there were occasions where I had like a sex partner that we will be friends with benefits. Nothing more, nothing less. I didn't want nothing more. There was no relationship.
It's so funny because I'm writing a book. I want to share the topic of my book, so the title of my book so bad, but I'm not yet. But I brought him up in my book. Right? I can't even connect unless you're intelligent and have something going for you. I understand completely. Thank you. Hello, we're grown, right? Like, I mean, that's for a woman like me. A woman like me. Like, I am high key attracted to a business professional, a professional, 6'4" up. I know people can't stand when you throw the height in there. I'm sorry, but it's really a thing over here, okay? It's like number 1. And what else? God-fearing.
Ask,
Seeking God.
Come over. You coming over tonight? Like, that's what your job is. You know what I mean? And you know,
it actually started with him, which is so funny. So funny.
This is back in my 20s, early 20s. On top of that, I'm not that woman anymore. I'm about to be 33 years old in April, Aries, period. So, you know, I had to learn myself being...
I just say I'm an April baby. I don't even claim being an Aries anymore. But you know. I bet you know. You know what it is.
This being and learning what it is that I'm going to accept and what it is that I'm not going to accept. Like, because of my experiences that I was in, you know, within that last few years being with my ex, you know, I've been exposed to a lot where I can be traumatized by it. So red flags, that's a boundary thing for me. If I see 1 millisecond of red flag too early on, I'm not going to go with it. I will stop talking to you immediately. No questions asked. You feel on top of that, excuse the side boob, but y'all know how I be coming on here. But on top of that, it's just knowing that now I want a husband. I really want a husband. That's what I've been preparing myself for in the years that I was
never really wanted
to
it
my
back then.
ex.
Like, I think I said I wanted it, but Maybe because I didn't really have, like, I don't think I had the understanding of what, like, a husband truly is. Curry goat. It's warm, guys. It's not, like, super hot, but it is still warm. What I was saying? Before curry goat. So freaking good.
Recently, and that didn't happen, you know, so I know that for me, the next individual that I want to be with is the man that wants to be with me for life. I don't want to just be throwing out my goods, you know what I mean? Because it may be goods to you, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's your goods to him. It's just, you know, for some guys, and I feel like that's my experience, and that's how I came to this place. Some guys, a lot of guys, unfortunately, it doesn't matter how good your goods are. They can get good goods everywhere. You know what I mean? So, like, you have to become above that. You know what I mean? So,
which is why
that is for me right now.
Which is why. Hold on. Which is why, you have to penetrate the mind. That's why. Because something that you can get, like, there's big D everywhere. There's whatever size fits your hot pocket, you can get that everywhere. A nigga could get a girl with some good stuff everywhere. Okay? It's vice versa. Like, nobody's excluded. There's always somebody better than you. So you keep looking for that, you're gonna find yourself at the clinic. Okay? But when you start connecting with mother effers that's gonna really take the time to see your mind, to read your mind, it's a different level of intimacy. That alone, it wouldn't matter how big this person is or how, because when you do that here, everything else will just flow. It will just fall in line perfectly. Because that's the way, that's how in tune two individuals can be when they're both on that same page, spiritually. Like, it's a soul thing, like, beyond. It's a flame, twin flame. I'm trying to learn about the difference between soul ties, soulmates, and twin flames. These bones kind of look sharp. But yeah. I wanted to say something else too. I don't remember. Oh, communication is a very important ingredient in a relationship. Absolutely. And we have to be able to receive when an individual is telling us something that, you know, like, that's just not going to work for them. You know, because people have boundaries. I feel like when people tell you their boundaries, you have to respect it. Whether or not you agree with it, whether or not you understand, you have to respect it. You know what I mean? People are like, oh, they won't let me do this, but I let them do that. Well, that's their boundary. That's not your boundary, clearly. So you can't be mad at that person for not having, you know, lacking that boundary or not having that as a, you know, having that on their boundary list when you don't. I don't know. I digress.
I mean, just knowing, like, what I'm not going to tolerate, and then setting the tone when you are dealing with somebody. let those boundaries be known from the get-go. See, I'm very vocal about my celibacy journey. I'm very open with it. I have a celibacy ring. I talk about it on my channel. I talk about it on Instagram, on Facebook. So anybody that's technically seeking to pursue me, they're going to know almost immediately or before they pursue me that this is something that I am committed to. You know what I mean? Now, granted, I don't want to jump ahead, but let me see. Granted, with those boundaries, a lot of guys do feel like, and I know this based off of the couple of experiences that I had, you know, guys feel like they can take you and change you and, oh, I'm going to be the one to take her out of that, or I'm going to be the one to re-pop her cherry, or, you know, I'm going to be the one to get her back effing and all that, like.
Re-pop her cherry? I'm going to be the one to re-pop her cherry. Chrissy, that is so funny.
You gotta have the mentality so strong where you're just like, it doesn't matter how heated this situation go. You know what I mean? Like, I may do a little mind games with you, you know what I mean? But it is not going to go there because I already knew.
I don't even trust myself. That's how I felt then. Don't feel like that now. Let's rewind it and hear this again.
Before this situation got heated. You know what I mean? You got to really stand. It doesn't matter how heated this situation go. You know what I mean? Like, I may do a little mind games with you, you know what I mean?
I will.
But it is not going to go there because I already knew that before this situation got heated. You know what I mean? You got to really stand firm. And in order to do that, you really need to take time to get to know yourself. And I took a lot of time to get to know myself. I didn't start talking to another man, start kissing and being passionate with another man. And passionate, don't get it twisted. I mean,
I just find that so funny that that's how I felt. I find that hilarious. Excuse me, sorry. I gotta get it out. First of all, I can tell you right now, there's a certain somebody, so help me God, and that's all I can say. So help me God, because you just gotta not be in certain spaces with a certain individual if you know you feeling like that, because it will go there. Do not try to set yourself up. First of all, I already seen it go there. And I'm not talking to a sense of like where it's actually like go all the way, but it can get there with me. I learned that about myself on this journey. Your girl is a freak. I can be a little freaky and frisky. Hands off. Okay. I won't touch. See? But, like I said, I haven't had, a bunch of love connections on this journey. I've only been on one date, which was like a year ago. So, for the most part. Excuse me, we're not going to talk about the other thing. Y'all know what I'm talking about for those of you who've been following me for a while. But if you want to know what I'm talking about, I have a whole Celibacy Journey playlist from the very beginning, from before I even started practicing celibacy and was talking about, doing this, talking about, dealing with sex being one of my sins that, that I struggle with. But yeah.
Just allowing another man to like touch my breast and, feeling my ass or anything like that, like, or kiss another man in years. You know what I mean? Like, I've been dealing with the same guy for years. So, a new guy come along, you know what I mean? That didn't even happen till over a year later. So, me knowing that, like, that's all the time that I needed to take time with myself, because
I take pride in that.
It's like what they tell you in...
Honestly, I really take pride in being a woman that don't really entertain a lot of men. You know what I'm saying? I can still count on one hand how many men I've entertained on this journey. I'm going on 6 years. Okay? So, and I mean, like, romantically viewed, I would say seriously too. Yeah, so, it's very important.
Have, you know, when you go back out there, stay away from people, places, and things. Stay away from your triggers.
I believe that. Stay away from your triggers. That's very true. But the thing is, don't trust yourself. Because you think you won't, and you might. You might. You might. You might be today is the day. F this ish. It's going down.
Stay away from, you know, being in the comfort of something private. Now, if this man was something that was someone that I could see myself with, like I was just talking to him. I don't consider, like, we went on a couple of dates here and there, and that was it. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't someone that I looked at like, oh, this could possibly be my husband. You know what I mean? Like, I may joke around and say some BS, but I knew off the rip, like, that's not my husband, because I feel like I'm going to know my husband definitely at least after the first date. You know what I mean? So, like, this is somebody that I already knew, that I've known since 2014, 15, you know, and we did talk back in the day, and we revisited and had a moment for the first time ever, and that was it. You know what I mean? So, like, before going into that situation, I knew that I can't have myself around, you know, I can't be secluded with a man if I'm not strong enough to turn a man down, even in the thick of passion and all of that. So that's pretty much where the boundaries come into place. You got to know that you're mentally capable of turning down and overcoming a very tempting situation. Like, okay, regardless of the party that's happening in between your legs, because this is the most you've been touched in years, or over a year, or going on a year and a half, whatever the case may be, you got to know that if I get somehow alone and we had a long moment together and things get heated and passionate between us, I can still say, no. Nope, not there. And know why? Because
the thing is, I don't mind leaving a man with blue balls, but there's always that one. Guys, don't mind me. I'm in.
I know the type of man that I want.
Very silly.
And I know the type of man that I want inside me. And that ain't it. Okay.
I know what type of man I want.
Moving
Girl,
on.
it's crazy. I'm telling you.
We already talked about setting those boundaries. I know what type of man I want inside me. And I would just say, like, for me personally,
I do.
Dating while celibate, you know, I haven't been dating a bunch of people, because for me, like, you know, like the guy that I went on a couple of dates with, like, at the end of the day, he could have been a potential somebody in the future, you know what I mean? He got a lot going for himself. He's doing very well for himself. You know, he's a great father, very handsome, physically attractive.
Yeah.
Everything that I want, you know, on the outer surface. You know what I mean? That was what turned me on. You know what I mean? It wasn't. So that I went on a couple of dates with. You know what I mean? Since my ex. So that was what turned me on. You know what I mean? It wasn't the attractiveness of him. It wasn't me knowing his occupation or anything like that, because I've been through those things. Those things don't turn me on. It was knowing that he's capable of, you know, following suit with me. I asked him straight up, like, is that something that you would be willing to do again? And he said, oh, no doubt. You know what I mean? So knowing that, you know.
Yeah, I don't know why that turned me on. Oh, I think I must have been talking. Yeah, see, get your mind out the gutter. I think you know, somebody, like, for me to entertain a man, they have to, like, be willing to rock with my journey. You know what I mean? If not on their own journey. You know what I'm saying? Like, also, they would have to be somebody that I could see myself with in the future, like longevity. Like, he seemed like he could make a good husband one day. You know what I mean? Like, he seemed like he'd be good with kids. The kids would love him. You know, something like that. Like, I have to see that in a man for me to entertain a man. So it's not many like that. and granted, nah, I ain't even gonna go there because it's neither here nor there.
Made it more. It made it more safe, I guess,
so
for me to agree to hang out with him, despite how tempting things got between us. You know what I mean? But just knowing that this man is capable of celibacy and practicing it and going through it for someone that he cares about, even though we weren't on that level, but just knowing, like, if that was a level that we possibly would have grown to, I know that I can trust that he will do his best with me to try to keep that celibacy train going. That's what I'm looking for, like, you know. And I know people be like, oh, you shouldn't be looking for anything, but when somebody approaches me, it's
so yeah. It's not about making a man stop what he wants to do or whatever like that, because that's another thing I noticed. Like, men, like, if I mention my celibacy journey or something like that, like, I'm not mentioning it for your permission. It's like, oh, that's cool, you know, that's your journey, do your thing. I'm not telling you because I'm asking for your permission for me to be on my journey. I'm telling you because I don't want to waste your time, because that's what I'm on. You know what I'm saying? So if you're not willing to, you know, respect me and, you know, get to know me without that having to be like your end goal, like end goal, just somebody to smash, I can't.
It's how is this person when it comes to knowing that a woman is celibate? How willing are you willing to go for this woman? You know what I mean? So for me, for a guy, for me to consider dating a guy, you know what I mean, on a casual conversation, you know, my celibacy comes out because I need to let
you
these
really
suckers
like the girl,
know from the beginning. Like, you ain't getting none of this. I don't care how tempting it is, okay? I need to let them know. So the feedback that I get, you know what I mean, will tell me, is this person somebody that I could even hang out with? Just in case something did started to grow and blossom between us. Like, for me, the tips that I have for, you know, when it comes to being celibate and dating, you know, just that's the real thing you should look out for. It's like, is this person capable of abstaining with me? You know what I mean? Or sometimes you might run into a guy that's actually practicing it. I did talk to a guy for like 2 seconds last year who did abstain from sex and was practicing celibacy. Sex wasn't like a major thing with him. And unfortunately, that conversation between us lasted a week. But that was another reason why I was like open to having a conversation with him.
I'm the queen of ending. Like, I do not let introductions tarry. I will end it right then and there. Like, once I see it's not for me, I'm not going to keep stringing it along. It's snip right in there. That's how your girls stay single and celibate.
You know what I mean? Because I knew that he was already celibate. You know what I mean? So, like, those are the things that I'm looking for. I don't really want a man to have to stop being who they are because of me. It would be nice that they are already on that wave, or they're already exposed to it or open to that. Like, sex is not the end all when it comes to a relationship to them. That's not how it was with, you know, my ex, my kid's father. Sex is everything for him.
Sorry,
he has a very bad, lustful spirit. You know what I mean? So it's just that I don't want. I don't want a grown man that cannot control his emotions is a dangerous man. Control his sexual hormones, shall I say, is a dangerous man to be with. You know what I mean? So, like, listen, what's the deal on a celibacy ring, and should I purchase a celibacy ring? Okay, so you guys, I have a celibacy ring. This is my celibacy ring. I got it like in the middle of my celibacy journey. It wasn't like a milestone when I got it. Like, it wasn't like a milestone month. I was at 6 months in or a year in or anything like that. Like, I just randomly thought, like, you know, I was just really proud of myself and where I was at, you know, in my celibacy journey, and I wanted to reward myself. So it wasn't like, oh, this is an accomplishment month, or I made it to a year.
Yeah. Get to the point.
It wasn't anything like that. I got my celibacy ring because I was proud of myself, and I wanted something to symbolize, you know, the journey that I'm embarking on. You know what I mean? And I wanted something that when people see it, they will say like, "Oh, are you married? Are you this? Are you that?" It's a conversation starter.
It really is a conversation.
Trust me, it started hella conversations.
Especially at the bar.
The more recent, you know, question that I got in public was when I was out with a guy that I was talking to. You know, for a little bit or whatever, we were out, and he had got up and went to the bathroom. And a chick came up to me, you know, she was complimenting me. She was like, "Oh, you look good, and you got this and that." She was like checking out my little labels, like, you know, whatever I had on or whatever. She was like, "You know, you married?" And my mom was like, "Hold on, sweetheart, I'm not married." And she was like, "Oh, well, your fiance." And I'm like, "That's not my fiance." And she was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I seen the ring." I said, "Yeah, it's a celibacy ring." And she was like, "What is that?" She didn't even know what a celibacy ring was.
Isn't that crazy?
So,
homegirl did not. She didn't even know what a celibacy. Thank you for the likes. What a celibacy ring was. I mean, not ring. What a celibacy journey was. That was her first time ever.
Proud to like tell her like, "No, sweetheart, I'm single." You know what I mean? Like, I'm single out here in these streets. You know, we're just hanging out. You know, because at that time, it wasn't even anything intense between us. He's just a friend that I knew for years, and we just decided to link up on my ring. You know what I mean? So like, I'm like, "Nah, I'm chilling, you know, I'm single and, you know, just hanging out, that's it." But, you know, this ring symbolizes, you know, the journey that I have, and me telling her I haven't had sex in over a year, and she's just like, she was so amazed, she didn't even know that that was like really a thing. Now, let's not knock her for her ignorance, because unfortunately in the day and age and the world that we live in, as I stated in the beginning, sex is everywhere. Sex is, even where I met her at, it's sex. You know what I mean? So like,
it was in a strip club.
Just being that one to spark that into her brain and introduce that idea to her was everything to me. And that's the reason why I got this, for this symbolism, for the introductory, you know what I mean, for conversation starters in general. Okay. Should you purchase a celibacy ring? I feel like, you know, personally, that was a question that came up on my Facebook channel. On my Facebook page a few times. You know, like a few women, they're talking about like, you know, getting a celibacy ring and, you know, rewarding itself. Heck yeah. You know, like, I got it to reward myself. I got it to symbolize, if you feel like, if you are 1 month in, if you are 2 months in, if you are 3 years in, and you feel like you want to reward yourself and purchase something because of the milestones that you have achieved with abstaining from sex, by all means, definitely do it. It's great. It's a great conversation starter. I would advise getting a ring. Like, I wanted something that kind of looks like, oh, what people would think, "Are you married?" So I can say, "No, I'm celibate." You know what I mean? Or, you know, get a ring that stands out. You know, something that will spark somebody to ask you, like, "Oh, what does this symbolize?" Or, "What is this?" Or, you know, something that stands out. Like, I got real diamonds. You know what I mean? And you can buy good rings for cheap. You know what I mean? I do plan on upgrading my ring either when I reach a year and a half or my 2-year mark. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking I should wait till my 2-year mark, because that will be
Let's get to some juicy stuff.
I've never been that type of chick. That stuff doesn't turn me on. If I'm going to have sex, symbolize your journey and your strength, go ahead, do it. Advantages and disadvantages of staying from sex. Ugh, child. Okay, so I don't know. For a woman like me, I don't masturbate. Do I?
Okay, that was then. This is now. I have tried it a couple of times since this video. I will say that. Yeah, literally probably like twice. Yeah.
Horny? Yeah. Do I do anything about it? No. Nah. I don't play with myself. I don't put my fingers down there. I've never been that type of chick. That stuff doesn't turn me on. If I'm going to have sex or be sexually involved with someone, I need to have that contact with another man. I needed to go, you know, full throttle. You know what I mean? So for me, I would say that is the disadvantage, because when I'm horny, there's nothing I can do about it. Like, you know, and it doesn't happen all the time. I'm not horny all the time.
Like I said, I'm just not I'm not the type to masturbate. Like, that's not what I do. But I don't want to give y'all TMI. Yeah, I'm not gonna give y'all TMI. But yeah, so I have tried it. Put it like that. And you know, on 2 occasions.
Not like my mentality, but lately, you know, I just would just pray about it. You know what I mean?
Ain't no shame there.
In the midst of it, you know, I just ask God, you know, I rebuke it in the name of Jesus, and I just ask God to keep me solid. You know what I mean? Keep me and get my mind off of that. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much how it is. I'm not into porn. Or anything like that. So yeah, I would say that's a disadvantage for me. And I feel like for a lot of men or women who practice celibacy or abstain from sex, that would be an issue for them, because, you know, you're. So yeah, that's why somebody like me, like I have a lot of like sexual tension build up, because obviously a woman like me is someone that enjoys sex and, you know, being affectionate and passionate and all that other great stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I have a lot, you know, being that I'm on this journey and been on this journey for years, you know, there's going to clearly be like tension, sexual tension. A lot of times people go to the gym to kind of relieve themselves. Me, I do different things to keep myself busy, but when you talk about them nights, you by yourself, and you know, you just gotta, not a wax, but if you wax or you beat, I beat, I'm gonna start getting the laser though. But you know, when it's like there, you just move a little way and you're like, ooh, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. You're going to want some. You're going to get horny at the end of the day, especially if you've been exposed to sex. You know what I mean? But at the same time, me personally, I don't think if you masturbating is going to keep you from running into the wrong arms and losing yourself into the wrong man or woman. I really wish I had a placard right here. I do better. Another thing I wanted to say is regarding that comment, like when you're like, when you don't really masturbate or whatever, and FYI, this is not a channel for children. It's rated, supposed to be visible only to 18 and up, so if children sneaks on here, you gotta watch your kids, okay? Just watch your kids. But when you don't masturbate and you got all this sexual tension and somebody that knows how to F your mind, and you're in that person's present with you, lion's den, setting yourself up. It might be easier. It might be easier if you, I don't know. It might be easier if, like I was saying here in the video, like if masturbating is going to keep you from, you know, stepping outside of your celibacy journey, by all means do what you need to do. But in the same token, it might make it worse. It might make you feel like you want the real thing, if you know what I mean. Don't act like you don't know what I mean. You know what I mean. Tell the truth. Someone masturbating. I feel like to each his own, but then sometimes from, you know, stories that I heard or whatever the case may be, you know, people that masturbate, it may entice them to go seek that actual real deal. You know what I mean? So I would say at the end of the day, you got to be careful with that, depending on what type of person you are. You know you. But now, I feel like, okay, so back then I didn't really believe or was aware that it is a sin to masturbate.
because I just thought like sexual immorality or just having sex outside of marriage is what is sinful, but it's a lot more than that. It's a lot more than that. And I've learned that within this last year or so. And God has been revealing that to me more and more on this journey. Like the more stories I see, the more things that are coming out and things that are exposed, like it just get more crazier and crazier. Like, yeah, this thing is dark. But it doesn't just stop at, and the Bible's clear about that. So read the scriptures on sex, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
For most people, I'm not like most people when it comes to masturbation and stuff. Like
I'm still
definitely
not.
can't relate in that situation, but I feel like most people,
I'd rather have the real deal.
You know, they do that on a regular. You know what I mean? And a lot of people, that satisfies them, and that's all they need, and they don't need to run into somebody else. So it really just depends on the person. But that can be a disadvantage, just being horny and, you know, being a woman like me and you don't masturbate. So you gotta like really pray and get mind over matter and move past it quick.
Pray. Now I'm
you know what I mean?
I be crying.
Another disadvantage would be that you're gonna
I be
find
crying
somebody.
in a way, like, God, please. I don't want to sin.
Somebody that, you know,
please
won't
take
F
it. I don't
with
want
you
to sin.
because you're not putting out.
Because I will.
I asked a question on my channel yesterday or a couple days ago. You know, asking guys like, how can you not respect a woman that is telling you she's practicing celibacy? Like, real talk, do you respect a woman that practice celibacy? And, you know, not too many answered it and said anything.
Okay, so I'll give my personal experience from 1.5 years to now 5.5. I really do feel like a lot of men respect me. I really feel like a lot of men that were interested, like, I'm not going to say I never had introductions to men throughout this journey. Like, yeah, I mean, I'm a beautiful woman. I attract real men, you know what I'm saying? So it ain't like a couple of guys here and there caught my eye, just ain't never get past, you know, the surface. Like I said in the video, I said a week person lasted a week. It's usually a week for me. Okay, so but still in all, even those experiences with those men, I still felt like naturally they give me a different level of respect, like overall. Like I really genuinely feel like even if they don't agree with it, like I've had men tell me, like, you know, once I reveal to them, like, hey, I'm practicing celibacy, how do you feel about that? You know, like, I'm not gonna lie, like I love the respect that they give me. Let me down easily, thank you. That's why we have these conversations. You know, I'm grown, he's grown, you know what I mean? 2 adults making the decision, this ain't gonna work for us, okay? So I love that, you know, they gave me the respect to where they're honest, and we're not going to waste each other's time. We're not going to entertain it and drag it and hope for something different. Like, no, we both grown enough to know what works for us, what's not going to work for us, and collectively we agree. It's, you know what I mean? So I feel like on this journey, a lot of men has respected, you know, me, like, and has grown to respect me, you know what I mean? And I feel like a part of that is also because, like, I'm not out here lying about my celibacy journey. You know what I mean? Like, I've been very vocal throughout this entire journey, you know what I'm saying? And people be acting like they don't get horny. People be acting like, you know, they don't get turned on. They don't be in fiery moments where they have to pass these tests. Like, come on, dog. Like, it's not real. Like, you know what I mean? Not people that was frisky before they got on this journey. I was a little frisky, okay? So, like, let's keep it 100. Like, I'm not turned off like that. Like, I'm still who I am, you know what I mean? Sensual, sexual, you know? But I want to be that for my husband, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many, like, versions of me sexually that I haven't even shared with another man that I've gotten to learn and grow into being on this journey. You know what I'm saying? So those are the things that I look forward to having with my husband. You know what I mean? That's his right. That's his right.
That did. They gave me, of course, they said they do. And they said they not, like, a couple of them were saying, you know, I'm not going to lie. You know, sometimes you feel like she BS and she's just trying to play me. And I do feel like women do say, oh, I'm not having sex, just so that they can say that to the guy and play the guy or whatever. My bad, guys.
Oh my gosh, let me fast forward
camera
this
got
part.
full.
My son scared
memory.
me.
There you go.
That was so crazy.
Why you sex complicates things, and it complicates
so
things.
Funny.
Period.
When I was recording this video, it was like pitch black in the background and all the lights. Like it was late time, my kids are asleep, and my son, he's like super light, right? Like he is super bright. He pops like I just see him like a light bulb in the freaking dark, and I'm like, "It's Chase, is that you?" Oh, while I'm recording, that is just funny. Okay.
It's with the wrong person. You know what I mean? Sex is not out the way pretty quickly. You recognize. He scared me. Bye. So yeah, the advantages are like, you know, you pretty much, you know, get all the guys that aren't really for you out the way pretty quickly. You recognize signs pretty easily. You're not like dismayed. You're not going to be moved by sex because sex is not in the picture. One of the biggest reasons why I decided to abstain from sex is because sex complicates things. Like, that's bottom line.
It does.
Sex complicates things.
Sex complicates things unnecessarily. Like, it's just, it don't make no sense how much complicated things will get, all because you had sex with that person. Like, now here we are, 5 kids later, 10 kids later. Just got that much complicated.
It complicates things, period, because it's with the wrong person. You know what I mean? Sex is not intended to be coming from like a biblical point, aspect or whatever. And everybody don't believe in the Bible or whatever the case may be, and that's fine. But for those of you who do, a biblical aspect, sex is not intended for everyone. It's intended for your husband and your wife. You know what I mean? So if you are out giving it to the wrong people that are neither your husband or wife, you know what I mean? It's just going to complicate things. And that's where people started throwing out the word soul ties. I'm not looking for complication. I need a clear mind. And I don't need...
When I tell you I love you, I want to tell you I love you because I fell in love with who you are at your core. Because I love how you think, the way you process things, the way you move. You know, the way you take life seriously, like, because of all the different things that makes you you, like, I want to tell you I love you because of those things. Not because we had sex. Not because it felt good. I want to tell you I love you because you allowed me into your space to learn you, to discover you, to feel you on a different level intimately. And that's what I fell in love with, and that's why I love you.
To be strong, not based off of really, what we built emotionally, but based off of sex. Realize how quickly you feed into, how quickly a woman can fall in love, even if she was like not on that type of wave. You know what I mean? How quickly you can fall in love if the chemistry is right. You know what I mean? And y'all have sex, so you thinking that, you can have chemistry with somebody. It's people that you can bond with on so many different levels that are relatable.
But the type of chemistry that I had recently, I can't say this is probably the second time I had chemistry like this, but technically the first time I had it like this. Let me snap out my head.
A lot of things that will spark, your chemistry bug or whatever. You know what I mean? But it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the person for you. You know what I mean? So like our mind will play tricks on us, and sex will definitely have those mind games into work. So have you thinking that you're in love with him and he's in love with you, and it's all just sex. It's all a lust. I used to tell my baby dad all the time, like, you don't love me. Like, you lust after me. If I say my
baby dad one more time, I'm starting to sound like that.
This whole celibacy trait came from, because
baby daddy,
I knew that man didn't desire me mentally, emotionally. He only desired me sexually like he did any other woman. Even if your husband desired me, he is supposed to desire you. That man didn't desire me as a husband and a wife. he desired me like he desired the next bitch, and that's period.
Okay,
and that's
right.
why
I don't curse anymore, guys.
You know what I mean? That's why I'm at where I'm at today.
That sounds so nasty.
If a man is going to desire me, he needs to desire me. I don't want a man to lust after me. I need a man to desire me because that's what he wants. Okay?
I mean, if he's my husband, he can lust after me. But no, like, the thing about lust is because, you know, apparently, you know, sometimes you just fall into it. It's not me being a sapio demisexual. It's not really the lust aspect. I'm just gonna call it lust, but it's more intimate. It's more deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? Shut up.
Everything about me, because everything about me entices him. The sound of my voice.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? When he see my face, when I start laughing, when I smile, you know what I mean? When I cry,
Ooh.
you know what I mean? Like, I need a man that's so in tune with me that's what entices him. It's not just because I got a fat ass or, you know, big ass breasts, or because I'm naked, or because I got this color lipstick on, or because I wore this shirt today, or because my hair is like that. I don't want a man that desires the outside of me. I'm not going to say desires, that lust the outside of me. I want a man that desires every aspect about me. So until I get that, honey, let's move on. So any advice on coping if you break that vow to yourself? Yes. Ooh. So there's a strong probability, you know what I mean? There's a strong probability after a certain amount of time, at some point, because I've done been down this road numerous of times. Okay, like I said, I've been trying to go down this road for years. Like, the earliest memory that I have of me trying to abstain myself and practice celibacy dates as far back as like 2009. Okay, and that's when I stopped putting so much pressure on me. I'm a part of the celibacy group on Facebook.
It's called something different now.
And a young lady just posted yesterday or today that, you know, she feels really bad because, you know, she slipped up yesterday. She fell into temptation and she just feels horrible. And she's like, I know, you know, everybody makes mistakes, but I feel so bad. And let me just tell you this. If you are going to decide to abstain from sex, okay? Now, the Christian groups, they didn't like when I said this, but you cannot do it.
They never like
for
what I
God.
said.
What? Did she just say that? I just said that. Cannot do it for God, because you know why? Because I done been there.
Okay, let me correct it. Right mother freaking now, because yes, you can do it for God. That's exactly why I'm doing it, but it's not the only reason why I'm doing it, and it wasn't the reason why I started this journey. So somewhere along my journey, which this part of my journey, I wasn't in a place in my journey where I felt like I was practicing celibacy because God called me to do it. God assigned me to do it. No, I did feel like he called me and assigned me to do it, but I wasn't on the journey because I'm doing it for God. Like, that wasn't where I was at when I was recording this video. So we're clear. That's where I'm at today. Like, I want to please God. There's so, like, the list just keeps growing and growing of why I continue to strive to be on this journey. It's a personal thing. It's a interpersonal thing. It's a spiritual thing, an emotional thing, a financial thing. Like, it's a lot of different aspects that I'm looking at. And I feel like when people view things, topics such as like abstinence, celibacy, when they view that as one-dimensional, two-dimensional, like, you're really not giving, you know, the sacrifice it takes. You're not giving the people that are choosing to embark on that journey. So let's be clear. The reason why I resonate with celibacy versus abstinence is because I have it in my mind where it could be something that is until indefinitely. You know what I mean? Like, because if God never gives me a husband and what I want to do is please God, then there's a big possibility that this could be a lifelong, you know, until eternity choice that I make. You know what I'm saying? Now, realistically, is that what I want? Nah! God. Okay? Better not be. Okay? But I also had the understanding that it could be. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, God knows that. God knows that I have that clarity. You know what I'm saying? So and I still choose to go this way. But on that same flip token, girl's also freaky. And she might slip here and there. You know what I mean? She might get a little slippery and wet here and there. If you know what I mean, just a little bit, not too much.
Okay? You cannot do it for God. If you really want to get to a place where you abstain from sex and you are on this celibacy journey, you have to go to God. But you cannot make any promises to God. God, I promise I'm not going to have sex until I'm married. You cannot make any promises to yourself. I'm really on...
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment because it is a sacrifice. Absolutely. You know, it's a different form of sacrifice because you sacrifice your body being with someone who God has not intended for you to be with. You know what I'm saying? Like, you sacrifice your time, you sacrifice years, blood, sweat, tears, a lot of things that you invest with that person, sacrificing all of that with the wrong person, all because y'all had sex. It done got that much complicated, all because y'all done had sex. All for it to be not the person that God intended you to be with this whole time. Like, I don't have that many years to play. Like, it's serious now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna be 40 in 3 years. Like, hello? What are we doing? We're not playing. I'd rather be single, flirty, having fun, get to do what I want. Like, me and my girls are having fun. Like, I don't know about the other single people, but we are not. We are having fun. And no, it doesn't mean we're in a bunch of men faces or anything like that. It's not giving that. We're dating each other. We're going out. We're getting together. We're vibing. We're trying new restaurants. We're going, grabbing new drinks. We're getting cute. We're getting dressed up for each other. We're matching each other's vibe. Like, we're feeding off of each other. We're keeping each other alive on this journey. Okay? Thank God for my sisters, my best friends. Like, thank God for them. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like, it can get different. I always do stuff like that when I lose my train of thought. I'm gonna stop doing that. Dang, so true. Yeah.
Thing where I changed my mind. Like, oh, maybe, you know, I'm gonna wait till I'm married, or I'm gonna wait till I meet the right guy.
Exactly. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, and that's how I feel. Like, I like to say I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna do my best because I don't like to talk about it, but I did slip up on this celibacy journey. I don't like to talk about it because I don't want people to take away my journey. You know what I'm saying? By knowing that. You know what I mean? But I was very open and honest about it. I talked about it on my podcast. Sipping with Chrissy Monologues on Spotify. Sipping with Chrissy Monologues. Sipping is SIP''N, I believe. And that's when I gave like the real in-depth, the real details about it. But I did like a quick overview. And I got into like how I felt at the time, which is what this is about to, the question was like, if you slip up on your celibacy journey, like how to cope or how to move on from it. Yeah, like I'll answer how I feel about that after this. But, yeah, let me just play that now.
It is, whenever I do have sex, whenever that time comes, I'm not going to feel no type of way about it. I'm not going to beat myself about it because it's what I chose to do. You know what I mean? So, like, don't give yourself the pressure of thinking, like, oh, I promise you, God, I'm not going to have sex with it. Because as soon as you break that promise, and trust me, there's a high probability that you may.
Yikes.
When that happens, you are going to condemn yourself so much.
I said it.
Okay? And it's going to be beyond what God has already forgave you for. You know what I mean? And that you're going to beat yourself up so much because of you breaking your little vow to yourself it's going to tear you up.
And to God.
Because, not to yourself, but the vow that you made to God,
yeah,
it's going to tear you up so bad because you feel like you disappointed God in so many levels. You know what I mean? Like, you really was trying, and then look, this is where you're at. You cannot go in the celibacy train with that type of mentality. Just do the best you can. We, at the end of the day, are human, and our flesh, unfortunately,
I said that because I know me. Once again, I know me. Like, I'm liable of slipping up, getting super slippery and wet. Like, I know me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna sit here and act like, oh, I promise God I'm never gonna touch another D unless I'm married again, knowing that that's unrealistic for me. Knowing me, I might put myself in a situation like that. Now, to God be the glory, I have been doing very well, since. Had a little moment last year, a little moment, but all praises be to God, okay? But I've been doing very well on this journey since, I slipped up. It wasn't even a slip up. Like, it was a premeditated, I'm going to interrupt this journey real quick because I was dealing with grief. I had lost my bonus father very unexpectedly, and it sent a shock wave in my body. So every movement, a lot of things that transpired out of me that year was on some rebellion type ish. Like, I literally rebelled. So that was just one of the reasons why. That was the reason why. One of the things that I did that was a result of my rebellion. So yeah, there's that. But I know me. Like, I know, like, one thing the Bible is clear on: don't trust man and don't trust yourself. And I remember when I first came across it, I was just like, no, I trust myself. But now I understand that, like, because you be the one that say, oh no, like, I'm like, especially on this celibacy journey, don't trust yourself. Know who you are. Like, no, I'm liable sitting on top of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know me. You know what I mean? So when you are real and honest and upfront like that, it holds you more accountable. It keeps you safe. You know what I'm saying? Because you go into it being like, oh no, I know I'm strong enough. Can't nobody I'm not interested in nobody and this, that, and the third. It's going to come a time where you're going to be put up to the test, and you're going to be put up to the fiery test that God talks about in his word. And, can you pass that test? Do you know how many, a woman like me, do you know how many tests I done passed in this here journey? Huh? I don't know how many more tests I got left. But I'm trying, Lord. No, but for real, Lord. But that's serious. Like, especially once you decide that, okay, I'm open to dating. So, like, the first over 3 years of my celibacy journey, of my singlehood, okay, I wasn't open to dating. I was focused on healing, growing, getting to know me, getting to know what I want, making a list of my boundaries, my green flags, my red flags. Like, I was just really, like, using that time to glow up and boss up, you know what I'm saying, get my life together. Like, it was a lot of reformation that was happening during that time, being led by the Holy Spirit, you know what I'm saying. So when I finally decided that, okay, my life, or I've been progressed to certain points or research certain goals in my life, that now I am able or ready to start dating. So once I became open to dating, like, I probably say it was like another year before I can even, like, really start, like, having somebody to actually exchange numbers with for real. But because I wasn't giving my number out or anything. So, like, all of this, during time through your journey, like, things change, things evolves, these answers evolves. Like, I may have been stronger then, but being on this journey and going through these different tests, and you start dating, so now you talking to somebody. I love a good long distance relationship. Look, long distance introduction, okay? I love a man from Baltimore, apparently, or Oklahoma. Like, I love a good Arizona man. Like, I love a man way far from me, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I love those connections where you just have nothing but time to get to know each other, and there's no sex involved. But, those things can turn Some things turn up too. Just saying.
To this world, you know what I mean? So that's why I say, you know, you need to give yourself some time and get to know yourself, so you know that when it comes to the heat of, and I really didn't know this, you know what I mean? It's easy to turn, it's easy to stay single when you don't have a guy in your place. Single. It's easy to abstain from sex when there.
Have a good night, Chrissy. About to go back to work. May God bless you, sis. Oh, thank you, legend. I appreciate you. Have a good night at work. Take it easy, and see you next time.
When you're not in a relationship, when you're not seeing anyone, when you haven't been dating, like, it's so easy.
It's super easy.
But when I started,
and once again, that's why I have been able to go on this journey without having fiery moments for real, without having sex, is because I don't really engage with men on that level. You know what I'm saying? But I did about a year ago. So I did learn some things, you know, a lot of things. I learned a lot of things. I learned a lot, you know, and it was growing pains. Like, I had to learn, you know, but like fiery tests that we go through and having to pass, like, man, them things is tough. Tough. Those some tough tests. But don't play in the fire unless you ready to
close, you know, really close talking to guys. Talk about my ex and that guy I was telling you about. That's when things got hard, and that's when things got real to me. You know what I mean? And you really have to have mind over matter. If I could have literally said, fuck it. And even if you do say Chrissy, fuck it.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
Girl.
Excuse my fuck it.
Oh my.
The journey you on.
Jesus.
And I don't want you to put that on me.
Excuse the old, you know what I mean? Mouth.
That's what you're looking for.
But oh my God, I'm so like disgusted with the profanity put out of my mouth. But to piggyback off of what I was saying, like, you know, when you're in those fiery moments, like, it's a lot of pressure, and to be like in your head, like, it's really a matter of just saying F it. Like, it's just really that simple. Like, it really is. So to put yourself in a situation where you like, don't do it, sis. I don't recommend it. It's a hard one to pass, especially when you specifically when you want that man as bad as he wants you. Don't do it.
Okay, so at the end of the day, if something like that happens and you do end up, you know, breaking yourself and beating yourself up, like, just don't do it. You know, the greatest thing about God, you can repent. Now, personally for me, I'm not doing it. It's not a promise to God. Me and God have an understanding. God is the reason why I'm able to do this right now. But I didn't make any promises to God because I don't want to feel what I used to feel back in 2009 when I used to break those promises. And it seems to me,
nothing is worse than telling God you're not going to have sex anymore and you have sex again. Like, like, I'm not telling God, but just saying, like, I promise I will never do it again. I promise God I will never have sex again. I promise God. Like, I used to do that so much back in the day. Like, that's why I was talking about 2009. That's when I first started to decide, like, okay, when I first made a promise to God, like, I'm not going to have sex anymore, God, I promise. I'm going to save myself for marriage. Child, and didn't. And I felt so bad. I would be tearing myself up. And that's basically what I was trying to do. Just to encourage people to not, like, don't make a promise that you can't keep, because even the Bible talk about promises that we break to God. Like, you don't want to, like, that. First of all, that's just a heavy weight. Like, it's a lot easier. From past experience, you step outside and you come back, but you know you ain't break no promise. This is something that you made to yourself, but at least you ain't lying to God. And, you know, even though God is understanding, it's just the feeling. The feeling is different. Like, dang, I done promised God and I done broke this promise, man. Like, yeah, And that's in anything, man. Like, it just sucks when you break your promises to God. So just I don't recommend it. Don't trust yourself, right?
Like, it's easier to keep that vow, being that this is the longest that I have been on this journey.
My lashes were so
you know what I mean?
then.
It's easier to keep that vow when you do it for yourself. You're not doing it to please your church. You're not doing it to please him or her.
Not
You're doing it because this is genuinely a decision that you made to yourself and decided, I'm just tired of the BS. And I feel like that's what God had to bring me through. So, like, I've been praying about it, you know, over the last couple of years, especially being in a relationship with a guy who's has the spirit of lust that's out of this world. I really started praying about it, and he knew these things. You know, he knew what I wanted. He knew that I wanted to wait and, you know, do things differently, but he wasn't off that way because he got the spirit of lust.
I'm so glad he's not like the focal point now. There's so many different things I can talk about now.
I was praying about it, and God knew my heart. God knew what I wanted, and I made that very clear to God. And I done been through so many type of storms. I'm happy that I walked away STD free. Like, seriously. So
thank you, Lord.
With that being said, you know, God will bring you through what you need to go through to put the disgust in your mouth. You know what I mean? The taste and, you know, just detestable. You know what I mean? Like, that's what God did to me, to the point where I don't even care to have sex anymore. And it gives me so much empowerment because I have the power. I feel like you give the guy the power when you give him your body, because us women are emotional, so immediately we get weakened. And you may be strong for a little bit, because you may be like that type of bitch that, like, you know, run around here and I got these niggas locked, but then it be that one you come across
man, I got these
you
niggas
cannot
locked.
get unlocked. Okay, so be mindful of those things. You know what I mean? Don't put yourself in a situation where you know you're not ready for. You know what I mean? If you're all the way across the board not ready to date, don't do it. Do not do it. Continue to heal. Continue to seek God. Continue to learn you and, you know, self-development and all of that. All that great stuff. You know what I mean? Do what you need to do. You know what I mean?
We talked about that earlier.
Get on your right path and know you and be confident in you and love you so much that the thought of somebody using your body for their gain disgusts you.
Yeah.
Because that's where I'm at. Okay? That's period. And at the end of the day, like I said, if I have sex tomorrow, I'm not going to beat myself up about it. Because that's what I chose to do.
Exactly.
A man cannot break me down to my knees and make me feel like, damn, I should have never done that. And this, I'm not there.
Okay, I wasn't, but, you know, because of the experience that I had last year, the moment that I had, yeah, like, if I would have, listen, I can understand why, you know, even not making that promise to God, like, oh God, I promise I'll never do it again. I can understand why, you know, you would be convicted, like, you know, because you know better. You know better because you've been on this journey, you know, because you and God are better, you know what I mean? But that's where you learn to not trust yourself. You trust God. That's it. You trust God. Like, if you gotta cry, scream, like, trust God. Seriously, like, because that's the beauty of the relationship, that, you know, growing pains, you know what I mean? That you learn how powerful God is in these moments, because once again, in our weakness, God is made powerful. His power intensifies, okay? And the other day, that was all I had. This is all I had. All I had was I said the other day, let me shut up.
I have sex tomorrow, I'm gonna be proud. Okay, like, damn, that shit.
If I have sex tomorrow,
you know what I mean?
Am I gonna be proud?
Feel like,
I wouldn't be proud. Nope.
Okay, that's all I needed. I'm gonna go another year.
I did that.
I'm gonna go another year and a half. Then that's just you. You know what I mean? Own what you do.
But own it.
You know what I mean? Don't be, oh my God, I can't. Like, whatever happens, happens. Like I said, when I got in those heated situations, you know what I mean? I guess that's my sense of masturbation because I don't masturbate. So, yeah, I got in some heated situations, you know, where we touched each other. I wasn't, like, doing too much, you know. But, you know, I wasn't giving oral sex or anything like that. But, you know, I got in situations where, you know, I could have been this close, but it's just like my mind just wasn't, I'm not there mentally. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel safe with a man. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that like, oh, I don't trust men. Like, I just haven't met the man that made me feel safe enough to break down my wall, to spread my legs. But am I going to be opposed to it?
But that's immature thinking too, because a woman like me, you know, it could just be safe enough for me to, you know, he ain't even got to break a wall down. If I feel like I want to F this nigga, and that's my mentality, and that's what the freak I'm going to do. And that's just what happened. You know what I'm saying? So it don't have to be a situation, you know, of course, I didn't know any better back then. You know what I'm saying? Not for a couple more years since that video. But, you know, I did, like I said, it was very intentional when I went about it. You know, taking a little interruption, a brief intermission. It was very intentional. Like, it was premeditated. I included God even on that, like from start to finish. Like, I made the decision to step outside of God's will, and that was that.
When that time comes, who knows? Like I said, I would like to save myself for marriage. That is the ultimate goal. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna do my best to do that. But if I slip up, I'm slipping up with the guy that I'm serious about, with the guy that I trust.
And that's the thing. I didn't slip up with no guy. I intentionally chosen someone who I had no attachment with. None of the complete opposite of what I'm saying right here.
That I feel safe with. You know what I mean? And that's the difference. You know what I mean? If you feel like you have a problem, or you feel like you cannot control yourself, and you feel like you haven't healed, don't put yourself in those situations. If you feel like you're gonna beat yourself, like, I know I'm gonna be messed up if I break this vow to God or myself, don't put yourself in those situations and it go down, and now you're beating yourself up and you condemning yourself, and that goes against what God done already forgave you for after you repented, and you still condemning yourself. Don't do it. Okay? Okay. The next question I have, question number 8, does it get easier? Yes. As I mentioned earlier, you know what I mean?
So
like,
immature.
At first, when I was within my...
So immature, yes. It gets easier. Y'all heard what I said. If you didn't, in the beginning of this video when it first started, I told you guys it does get easy in a sense, but there's fiery tests. If you think it's going to be a cool, smooth ride, and the devil is out here lurking, seeking who he can devour, you got another thing coming. Okay? So no, it gets real. Let you have somebody that you want to jump. Who bones you want to jump, to see how easy it is then.
Here, I've said so many times to God, I'm like, God, I don't know if I can go another year. I don't know. This is
6 years on this.
I don't know. But after that year, I was like, I can actually see me going another year. And that's the beauty of it. Once I got into those thick situations where I was tempted and I could have changed my way of thinking in that moment, and had all types of sex up and down and back and forth. Once I overcame those situations, I was like, oh yeah, I can definitely do this another year. Because now I'm faced with my adversity. You know what I mean? Because now I know what it feels like to be turned on, for that interest to be sparked. I know where I'm at now. I know how this is going to go. You know what I mean? I got...
Can't be too confident, and that's all I'm going to say. cannot be too confident. Do not be too confident on this journey thinking, oh, it can't be you, because you the one that's going to be convicting yourself the most. You the one that's going to feel it the most. It's going to hit you like a ton of bricks, like somebody smacked you in the face with a ton of bricks. You the one that's the proudest, the loudest, the one that's always pointing at everybody else's flaws and everybody else's sin, and oh, it can't be me, and my this and not that. You the one it's gonna hit the hardest.
A little bit control over this thing, so now I'm like, yeah, I'm the one in control. Before, it was the men in control because they had your body. They don't have your body, so they don't control your mind.
Very immature. They don't control your mind until he mind F's you. Until he can get up in your mind. I can tell you about that one. See, I didn't know.
They don't control your body. And you got to keep that in mind. If you can't divert the situation, you're not ready for it. It does get easier. And in the midst of it getting easier, you may come across some weak moments. You know what I mean? But, don't put the pressure on yourself. Embrace who you are. If that happens, then you know what? Just boss up and move on. Like, damn.
That's literally... Oh, shoot. I done fast forward.
How long should you do that?
Yeah, just boss up and move on.
You're trying to heal. Step it up. Like, just give it a break. Of their... You know what I mean? Women that see marriage in their future and that... And I could have changed my way of thinking in that moment and had all types of sex. Your mind, they don't control your... Diverse the situation, and in the midst of it getting easier, you may come across some weak moments. So, embrace who you are. If that happens, then you know what? Just boss up and move on. Like, damn. Man, wish I could win another year, but well. You know what I mean? Move on. Don't stay stuck in that moment. You did it. It felt good. Which you was crying the whole time. Like, if a guy could get you in a point where it's like that and you're crying, like, don't even do that.
Right.
If you want to cry about it afterwards, then what the hell? Like, come on, stop faking.
I strongly agree.
You know what I mean? Like, you're faking.
I strongly agree with myself. That's crazy. But I strongly agree that if... I crack myself up. How am I going to strongly agree with myself past me versus now? But I strongly agree that if it's going to be something that you're going to cry about, that you're going to regret immensely, that it's going to overcome you. I mean, what word am I looking for? Not overcome. Overwhelm you. Like, don't do it. Like, just stay out of those rooms. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you go in there kids, but if you go in there with the mentality like it is what it is, like I'm ready to do this, then be ready to do it. Like, it's on you. Everybody doesn't have the same journey.
Number 11.
Everybody doesn't have the same goals. You know what I mean? Like, everybody is not celibate, and everybody is not practicing abstinence, and everybody don't consider theirs interchangeable. Some people have a limit. Some people have a reason. Some people don't. Like, it's your journey is your journey. Nobody can define your celibacy journey but you. And I really get sick and tired of people trying to define other people's journeys. But I do feel like if you're going to go out and step outside of your journey, just make sure that's the decision you genuinely are ready to make. Because you go in there and do that and not realize, like, okay, like, I made it, I feel bad. Especially like when you have that relationship with God and at the same time, irregardless to your own personal reasons for being on this journey, God called you to be on this journey. You know that you're assigned to it. You know that this is what God has called you to do. Like, you're gonna feel messed up if you break that. If you step outside of that, and that's what you're leading with, and that's what you're living with, you're gonna really feel messed up about it. So if that's the case, just don't do it. Like, don't do it unless you're ready to feel what comes from it. Like, oh man, oh okay. I say I rewind it again.
How common is it for women your age to practice celibacy? So, interesting
Very
enough,
common.
like I said earlier, I'm going to be like us. You know what I mean? Women that see people I know that are like that. Okay, and I it was so beautiful. But for me, in regards to me in my age group, you know, women at my age, we if we're not married by now, we want that. You know what I mean? Women like us, you know what I mean? Women that see marriage in their future and that wants a significant, that desires a husband, a loving father. You know what I mean? We want that. So it's not uncommon for women in my age bracket to be like,
I'm 37.
Yeah, I'm settling down.
Turn 37.
You know what I mean? It's not uncommon. It's more common than you think. And a lot of, like, from what I see that's on my Facebook page, there's a nice group of us that are celibate. There's someone that's over 2 years. There's someone, you know, that did a year and a half, and then, you know, she backslid a little bit. I'm not really meaning backslide, but, you know, she broke her little, you know, whatever, and, you know, she's back on that journey again. You know, there are women that did a year. There are women that do it for different reasons. You know what I mean? So, like, but they're all around my age, and it's not uncommon, and most of them are not even into church. You know what I mean? So, like, you don't need to do it for religion-based purposes, but if you do, that is great, and stand by it. Do you judge those who are not celibate? No. Like, I remember somebody made a comment one day recently. So I don't even know what she said particularly, but it was like in the lines of, like, yeah, you know, because I don't like when people think like, oh, they think they better than us because they don't have sex. No, that's not what it is. Okay, let me tell you something. That I think that I'm better than you because I don't have sex, but when it comes to relationships, I feel very empowered, okay, because I'm not allowing a man to take advantage of me. This has nothing to do with you. So if I brag about the fact that I'm over a year and a half celibate, that's my business. Let me have that, because that's an accomplishment for me. If you've been effing all your life, be great and be the best at it. You know what I mean? That's not my business. I don't look at people and be like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, I genuinely love everyone who embrace themselves. If you're going to be a free spirit, be free spirit. Use your condoms. Do what you're supposed to do. Don't sleep with other people's men. Be a free spirit. You know what I mean? Don't be a hoe. You know what I mean? Have sex, live your life, and own that ish. But when it comes to me and my celibacy, you better believe I'm very proud about it. I'm going to boast that. Just like anybody do any of their accomplishments in life, whether it's employment, whether it's a marriage, a baby, I just bought a house or whatever, I'm going on 2 years celibate. You know what I mean? Like, that's an accomplishment for a woman that's all
right. So that's how I felt back then, that it's an accomplishment to have a milestone in your celibacy journey. So like year 1 or 6 months or 3 months, I felt like that then. I don't care to feel like that now. When you've been on this journey and you're a woman like me, and I'm talking about the ones that got frisky, the freaky little girls that were freaky and, you know, had an assignment from God. You know, it is what it is. I feel like now it's just literally, I just thank God for making it another day on this journey. That's where I'm at. I feel like it's no milestone to be celebrated. The milestone to be celebrated is each day that I am walking, aligning with God's will for me and in my life, and closer to what God promised me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how I feel. Like, yes, it was a celebration when it was 2 years and, you know, all this other extra stuff. I say more so, yes, I've been on this journey, this celibacy journey, going on 6 years, because it happened when we're single. It both happened at the same time, synonymous. So, you know, it's something to point, but to me, it's just like, I'm just happy that I made it another day, because that's how real it's getting for me. That's how real this journey has gotten for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, each day that I make it to the next, I just thank God for the next day. And of course, the phone is always dying. But we don't have long left. I think 9.
Her goals. You know what I mean? So, like, if it intimidates you because I am proud of myself about not effing over or not effing with the guy that would have effed me over,
I'm still very proud of that.
Then maybe you effing the wrong nigga.
Ooh.
How about that?
Ooh.
But no, I don't judge anyone in regards to that. No, I'm not going to judge you because you're having sex.
I love to
I'm not even paying attention to anybody that don't have sex.
I love to throw shots at me.
My goal is, and my mission is, when it comes to me, you know, being open with my celibacy journey, is that women that are already mentally there, you know, that
this is my goal and my mission,
are telling themselves, I'm not even paying attention to anybody that don't have sex. My goal is, and my mission is, when it comes to me, you know, being open with my celibacy journey, is that women that are already mentally there, you know, that are telling themselves, like, I want to do this. I want to be that voice. I want to be that, you know, I want to be that window to them. I want them to have a little peek into my life and experience what I go through, you know, so they can decide for themselves, is this something that they can do? Is this something that's for them? If it don't got nothing to do with you, like, praise me, compliment me, give me my props, and keep it moving. I'm not going to look at you differently. I do look at people differently that I see still constantly abuse themselves by running into the hands of the wrong man, because it hurts as a woman to watch other women go through the issue that I went through.
Facts.
And all you have to do is to change it is, you know, just love you more.
That's it.
You know what I mean? But I'm not going to beat down on you. I'm here to encourage you. Boss up. Step it up. Like, just give it a break. Give it a break, because you don't know how to think when you let niggas get your cookie. You know what I mean?
Hello.
I was with a nigga. I didn't even recognize myself. You know what I mean? So, like, come on now. That's what it's about. You know what I mean? I don't look at you. I'm not going to judge you. But, you know what I mean? I am going to be your sister. And I am going to keep it 100 with you. You know what I mean? And that's period. Just like anybody would keep it 100 with me that is in my life or around me or whatever. Anything coming from me, I'm going to keep it 100.
I correct myself.
Whether I know you or not. And that's period.
That's so me.
13. How do you know it's time to commit, or reasons to consider celibacy? If you feel like you don't recognize yourself, if you can't think properly, you know what it's like. You know what I mean? You know this nigga got you effed up. You know y'all don't got nothing going for y'all relationship. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like, there's nothing going for you. You know that man don't desire you emotionally. You know what I mean? You know it's just sex. That may be a time to consider celibacy. When you know you've been giving it up to Tom, Dick, and Harry, and you're not doing it because you're free-spirited. You're doing it because you're trying to heal. But that's not how you heal. You know what I mean? How you heal is allowing the D to fall back from you. You know what I mean? How you heal is from saying no to the dick. Period. You know what I mean? Like, how you heal is by getting to know yourself. Loving yourself. When you don't recognize you and you look in the mirror because you allow this man to treat you some type of way, and you know when he demands sex from you and you're not even feeling it, honey, last days of having sex wasn't great. Okay? It wasn't great at all. And coming from somebody that had a great sex life, that's when I knew, for me, it was time to stop. Yeah. Because I'm not even here. And this man is a man that I was in love with. You know what I mean? So if me being in love with you and your penis no longer do what it used to do, mind you, I've been having sex with that penis for years. Okay? Like 15 plus years. If your penis can't get me to do what it used to do because we're so toxic, it's time to maybe take a step back. That's pretty much it. And like, how long?
I'm going to elaborate on that. So how do you know that you're ready to commit to abstaining or celibacy. Um, Basically, I guess essentially what I was saying in this video is if all signs are pointing to, just take a moment. Like, I honestly, if you come across this video, I encourage you to let today be day one of Celibacy Journey and at least try it for a year. Like, I really think that, like, especially if you're newly single, I feel like individuals that are freshly out of a relationship, especially a long-term relationship, I feel like man or woman, male or female, I feel like it would be a good idea to just abstain from sex for a year. Make that commitment for a year. Focus on getting you and your mind, your body, your soul. If there's a certification, a license that you want to achieve, enrolling back in school, completing another school year, whatever it is, like take the year to just focus on you and getting your life in order so it can be presentable, you know, in a year from now to go back to love, to go back into a relationship or whatever. Like, I really feel like anybody that is struggling with self-identity, like should just, it might be a sign for you to commit. You know what I'm saying? Like, just take a year, man. If a year is too much to commit to and you're somebody that goes, like, usually get it every week, multiple times from different women, definitely at least try 3 months. If that's something that's like abnormal for you, like at least try 3 months and then give it another 3 months and then get another 3 months. You know what I'm saying? And just keep adding 3 months. You know what I mean? Until it's not even 3 months anymore. Now it's just another day and you feel good and it's been amazing. It's been beneficial to your life. You know, the journey that started small, but now, you know, I pray that I inspire somebody who comes across this live. I pray that I inspire you to make that commitment for the glory of God. Gotta throw God in there. Hey. But yeah, like, because ultimately it is glorifying God. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, God doesn't want us to abuse our bodies. He doesn't want us to subject our bodies to people that don't value Him, that don't value our temple, that don't value ministry, you know, that don't value holiness. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's just sexual, it's not worth it. You know what I'm saying? But if you, because a lot of times people don't even realize a lot of their issues were attached to their sexual addictions. You know what I'm saying? Those people definitely might be a sign for you to take a little commitment, a commitment break. 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year. You know what I'm saying? A little commitment break. It might be time. It might be time if you see this. If you see this video and you feel like you needed a confirmation or something like that, you know, it's time. If you feel like God has been leading you towards it, that's when it's time. Because like I said, I've been wanting to be on this journey since 2009, and it didn't actually happen until 2019. So within those 10 years, I kept trying. Oh God, I promise I'm gonna do it. And then I'm like, man, F it, I'm just not gonna do it because I keep breaking these promises. You know what I'm saying? So it got to that point too where it just wasn't even a part of anything that I like. It was always deep down inside. Once again, those inner core things that I knew I should be doing, that I wanted to do. But when I finally were able to do it in 2019, 10 years later, I genuinely feel like that was the time for me to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's why I'm big on people cannot be too quick to judge, especially like in the church, like church folk. I can't stand them. If you've been on my channel, you know that I'm a God-fearing woman. I have a Christian-based background, born and raised in the church, but I cannot stand church folk. And part of the reason is that alone, because, you know, me trying to force myself on a journey prematurely before it was really my time ended up costing me. You know, it ended up making me feel like I was convicting myself. Like, I just, you know, I really wasn't prepared. I didn't have the tools that I needed And I didn't have the experiences that I needed to be strong enough to really take this journey serious until 2019. You know what I mean? Like I mentioned in my video, like God had to put a disgusting taste in my mouth for me to even get turned off. You know what I'm saying? But when the time came, it was a perfect time because everything else flowed. Like it was a very perfect time. Like it happened. My celibacy journey and me being single are synonymous. They happen at the same exact time. So this walk is together. So of course I want the end goal to, it started here and then it's ending with my husband. You know what I'm saying? Of course there's a little hurdle along the way, but you know what I'm saying, like it started here and it's ending with my husband kind of thing. So I just feel like, you know, naturally I just feel like anybody specifically singles, in complicated situations, whatever, like I feel like a good year, freshly new singles, a good year, 3 months, let's, whatever it is, like just take some time to sacrifice some time for God, for yourself, for your body.
Should you do that? It's how long you feel like you want to. Don't put a date on it. Don't put.
You see, my answers are different now.
Until I'm married, because I don't want you to be disappointed in case you slip up. You know what I mean? Just until you are ready mentally. Are you capable of handling another heartbreak because this nigga done stuck his dick inside of you and, you know, now he got the control, now he got the power. Are you ready for that?
I'm gonna tell you something right now. That thought process alone keeps my legs closed because I am not ready to be demonetized. I'm not prepared for that. Not with a man that's not my husband. I'm not ready for that. I don't have time for that. Okay?
If you're not ready to turn down a man that can work and that's used to slinging his penis everywhere and getting what he want out of females, then just take a break, take a step back. Take a step back. Do it. Okay? Get you some support groups. You know, I go on Facebook, freaking Instagram, just type in celibacy. You know what I mean? Celibacy journeys or celibacy this. Go on YouTube, type celibacy. Get you a support group. You know, follow those pages that are like the celibacy group or whatever the case may be. I am celibate. There's a bunch of different celibacy groups. Get you a support group. You know what I mean? And not so much, not just, you know, biblical and spiritual based, because everybody is not doing it for biblical and spiritual reasons. You know what I mean? But get you, you know, a support group.
Let me finish that thought process. About the church folk, like, back to the journey. Like, so when God calls you to do something, you do it. If you put your will in his hands, and it's his will, not your will, be done. When God calls you to work your assignment at this moment, people are not going to understand. People are going to judge. They're going to feel like you should be doing X, Y, and Z right now. You should be reflecting this right now. You should be living like this right now. But people don't understand. Oh, now the candle just blew. People don't understand that's not the timing that God wanted that assignment to take place. Because if we do it right now, opposed to when God had, you know, had it all worked out for, you know what I'm saying, at the time that he wanted it to be done, it could probably move things in a direction that it was never intended to be moved. So you got to stop listening to outside noise and allow God to direct you and guide you on when that time is for you at the end of the day. You know what I mean? The Holy Spirit will lead you 100%. And with me, it just happened naturally. It like I said, I was doing it for myself. You know what I mean? And inadvertently, I ended up doing it for God. You know what I'm saying?
That is going to help encourage you. You get to read other people's thoughts. You know, you get to encourage other people. Everybody, it's not, even though it's common, it's not like you're going to walk into somebody today and say, oh yeah, well, I heard the celibacy too, or I heard the celibacy too. But when you become a part of that support group, you learn that you're not the only one out there. and how society tends to look at people like us, like, oh, we think we're better than them, or, oh, I don't know how they do that, or they crazy as hell. In your support group, you don't have that, and you got thousands of people that are on the same wave as you.
I've been on one of the abstinence celibacy groups on Facebook. I've been a part of that group, I want to say since 2021. And I posted a lot throughout the years in that group. And I'm actually going to add some of those things that I posted in that group to my book. But it's amazing to see the journey within that group in itself. A lot of people that, you know, have helped me, like even in moments that I couldn't share with anybody in my personal life because they can't relate. You know what I'm saying? The dog probably did that. But yeah, or the kids. But yeah, so like they can't relate, you know, so you can't really, like, when you're going through certain things, having a group, being able, like, in those groups you can post anonymous. I'm not an anonymous type of poster, but you know, I get to share my experiences with people that have these, you know, feelings, these thoughts, you know, like, and it helps you realize, okay, like, I'm just happy that I'm not the only one going through this right now, dealing with this particular struggle in this journey, you know what I'm saying? So having a good support group, an accountability group, whatever it is, it's really good. It's really beneficial.
Stand.
It has been,
you know what I mean? Like, me and my girls on Facebook, somebody said, girl, next time I have sex, it's gonna fall off the bone. Like, it was hilarious to me because if you are not having sex, that shit means everything. Like, that issue was like, you can relate. Nobody can relate to that if they not having sex.
It's gonna fall off the bone.
But just having somebody that, you know, they say that and you can laugh at that because you know how real it is, because you are going through the same journey with them, like, that's what you need. Be open about your celibacy journey to help other people. You know what I mean? You're going to have people that try and clown you, that, oh, think you stuck up, that going to look at you different. You're going to have niggas that's going to turn you away, niggas that you might be interested in or whatever the case may be. They're going to turn you away because you're not trying to give it up. But that don't mean that that's what you go with. You stay true to you, and you stay true to you only. Get you a support group. And that's period. So that's like pretty much all I have today.
Well, that's it. That is it. So I hope that you guys are able to get a good taste of where I'm at in my celibacy journey right now, based on Celibacy Journey Part 1. You know what I'm saying? Compared to now, Part 2. As you can see, it's a lot more seasoned. I'm a lot more seasoned on this journey, and maybe another 4 years from now, God, please don't let me be on this journey this daggone long. Another 4 years from now actually would be annoying. It would. I would be annoyed. I better be married. I better be married way before the 4-year mark. But in case I'm not, if I have to, another 4 years, ooh, that would be, I would really be pissed off. I really would. Then I probably would be walking around bitter, angry. Nah, I'd probably be making a lot of money and traveling, living out the country and traveling all over the world. Still living life. Never know. Never know. But I don't want to be going through these fiery tests for another 4 years, Lord. No. But yeah. So this is where I'm at. This is my thought process today. It can change. Things. Your journey is not a one size fits all. It is tailored to you. It's tailored to how spiritual you have it, you know, because it is a spiritual walk. It's a spiritual journey, whether it's for religious-based reasons or because it's just something within yourself that you just need to heal. But for me, all glory goes to God. All glory always went to God for my journey. And I'm glad that I am just a woman of integrity. I'm glad that, you know, a lot of people like feel some type of way because, oh, you wait till you have all those kids. I told y'all I had a lot of sex, right? I have 2 baby daddies. I had a lot of sex with both of them. A lot of it. A lot. That's how I ended up with all these kids, because your girl was getting down. Okay? You know how much sex you have to make babies? A lot of it. Okay? So, anywho, yeah, I had a lot of, you know what I mean? So, I was able to chill. I could chill for a few years, you know what I mean? Chill out. But now now I'm ready. So, God, please send my husband in the name of Jesus. I'm trust and agree with me today that my husband is here, that he's coming. I'm going to meet him. I'm going to experience him. I'm going to marry him, and then we're going to have a lot of sex. But that's where I'm at on this journey. Like, I honestly, like, there's times where I feel like I'm over it. There's times where I'm just like, oh God, thank you, because I see what's going on in the real world outside of celibacy, and it's not pretty. Like, it's not comfortable. Like, I would be petrified being in you guys' seats. You know, for those of you who are not on the journey, I would be petrified. Like, it's just a lot going on. But you know, that aside, I'm happy to be a woman of integrity. I'm happy that, you know, as I continue to grow, as my value continues to solidify itself throughout time, that I continue to maintain my integrity and be a woman of substance, be a woman that has something to offer more than her body, be more than a pretty face, be more than sexy and sensual. You know, just have more to bring to my future husband, because that's what it's about. You know, for me, just having more for myself, having more for my children, and having more for my future husband. You know, because I think long term. You know what I'm saying? So, anywho, I thank you guys for tuning in today. I am wrapping this up at 141 with a minute and 28 seconds. And there's another topic that I wanted to do. I forgot what about. Oh yeah, I'll be back to talk about some Diddy trials. We'll be listening to some more Diddy trials this upcoming week. So I will see you guys again. So thank you so much for tuning in. Peace and love and harmony, and be blessed. Mwah. Yes.